The sky above Novus Terra was calm. The two suns were setting, painting the clouds in orange and gold. Children played in the parks. Traders packed up their shops. Life was peaceful then. The sky burned red. A strange sound filled the air deep, loud and terrifying. People looked up. What they saw turned their joy into fear. Huge alien ships were falling from the clouds, sharp, black, and fast. Each one looked like a metal monster. Fire followed them. Explosions lit the horizon. Buildings shook. The ground cracked. The Tsar had arrived. No one had seen them before. Not like this. The news said the Tsar were far away, fighting other worlds. No one expected them here, not now. Not so soon. Alarms screamed. Sirens howled. Soldiers ran to their posts, but their guns were too small. Their defense towers lit up, firing lasers into the sky, but it wasn't enough. In less than 5 minutes, 3 major cities were gone. Far away, in deep space, a single ship floated near an old asteroid belt. It was dark, cold, and silent, forgotten. But as the emergency signal reached it, soft lights blinked on. The ship's name was HSS Valor, and inside it, one man opened his eyes. Captain. Elias Rourke sat up slowly. His back hurt. His bones cracked. He was old, now older than most soldiers, but his eyes were still sharp. The computer voice spoke. Captain Rourke. Emergency alert received. Human colony Novus Terra under attack. Enemy class Zarn. Defense forces failing. Rourke stood up and looked out the window. Stars blinked softly. So quiet, so peaceful. He remembered a time when space was never peaceful. I knew they'd come, he whispered. He walked to the main control panel and pressed his palm against the scanner. The ship powered up with a low hum. Lights came on. Engines warmed. The voice spoke again. Ship systems at 62%. Weapons online. Shields unstable. Crew status, 1 human. That's all I need, Rourke said. He walked to the command seat and sat down slowly. The seat still fit him perfectly. His ship, his war. Again, he looked at the enemy's attack pattern on the screen. It was like a swarm, fast, smart, brutal. They weren't trying to invade. They were trying to destroy everything. The fleet, Rourke asked. The voice replied, no support fleets in range. All major human forces are occupied or destroyed. Valor is the only ship nearby. Rourke's face stayed calm. Then we go alone. In the dark hallways of the ship, metal doors opened, missiles rolled out of storage, lasers charged. Shields tried to stabilize. The old ship shook a little, but it was ready. Captain Rourke stared at the main screen, where the red flames of Novus Terra still burned. He remembered the last war. He had lost everything: his friends, his command, even his faith. After that, he chose to disappear. Let the younger ones fight, let others lead. But now, no one was left. As Valor began to move, its engines roared to life. The stars around, it shifted. The ship jumped forward with a flash of blue light. The voice said, estimated time to contact, 12 minutes. Rourke whispered, let's make them remember humanity. In the center of the Zarn fleet, their leader, Overlord Vacker, watched the burning planet with a smile. His many eyes blinked in different colors. Another world falls, he said. Soon, the galaxy will bow. Suddenly, one of his officers shouted, unknown ship approaching, human class, Solo. Vacker laughed. 1 ship, send 10 destroyers, end this joke. Back on Valor, Rourke heard the comms open. A message came from the Zarn. You are outnumbered. You are alone. Turn back, human. You cannot win. Rourke replied calmly. I'm not here to win. I'm here to make you bleed. He cut the signal and gave the order. Target engines. Fire. The HSS Valor moved fast through space. Stars rushed past its windows like white streaks. The ship had been quiet for years. Now it was alive, again like a sleeping lion waking up. Inside, Captain Rourke worked quickly. His hands flew across old buttons and flickering screens. The systems were slow, damaged, and some parts didn't even turn on. But Rourke didn't stop. He knew this ship better than anyone. The computer voice spoke again. Warning, shields at 47%. Weapons fully charged. Hull damage, minimal. Smiled. That's better than I expected. Then the alert beeped loudly. Enemy ships approaching. Zarn, destroyers. 10, time to contact, 3 minutes. Rourke looked at the screen. The Zarn ships were big and black, shaped like blades. They moved together like wolves, fast, silent, deadly. Let them come, Rourke said. He pulled up the ships. Weapon list. Most were old, some were forbidden. Earth had banned them years ago. But Rourke had never been one to follow rules. He selected something dangerous. Vortex mine, EMP burst, plasma nets. The ship's AI Ivy suddenly spoke. Her voice was softer and more human than before. Captain, these weapons were marked. Unsafe, so are the Zarn, he replied. Prepare to fire. Minutes later, the 10 enemy ships appeared on screen. They came in fast, surrounding the Valar like sharks around a small boat. One Zarn commander opened a message channel. His voice was deep and full of pride. One old human ship, one old man. You think you can stop us, Rourke? Said nothing. Instead, he pushed a button. From the back of Valar, a small object shot out. The enemy ships scanned it. Primitive mine, one of them said. Ignore it. Too late. The vortex mine exploded with a flash of blue light. It pulled 2 Zarn ships into each other. Their hulls bent, twisted, and broke. Then Rourke launched an EMP burst. The enemy's screens went black. Their engines failed. The Valar flew right through the chaos, spinning and firing plasma nets that stuck to enemy hulls and burned through them. Within 30 seconds, 5 ships were down. The Zarn panicked. The remaining ships broke formation. Rourke moved fast. He knew their weakness. They relied on perfect order. If that order was broken, they got confused. Ivy, he said, target the leader, the AI responded. Locked on. 1 shot, 1 hit, 1 explosion. Now only 2 enemy ships remained. They turned and tried to run, but Rourke didn't let them. Minutes later, space was silent again. The HSS Valor floated among broken ships and burning wrecks. Rourke leaned back in his seat, breathing hard. Ivy, he said. Status, shields at 11%. Weapons recharging. No critical damage. Captain, that was impressive. He smiled. Still got it. Back in Zarn space, Overlord Vaker slammed his fist on the control panel. 1 human ship, he growled. How? His second-in-command spoke quietly. Reports say it used old Earth tech. Dangerous tech. The pilot is not normal. Vaker S. Eyes glowed red. Send the hunters. I want that ship destroyed. No more games. Back on Valor, Rourke watched the enemy fleet map. More ships were coming. Bigger ones. Smarter ones. And he was still alone. He opened the Human Emergency Comms channel. Attention. This is Captain Elias Rourke of the HSS Valor. I am engaging Zarn forces near Novus Terra. We need backup now. No reply. I repeat, this is humanity's last stand. If anyone hears this, send help. If not, then I'll fight alone. He closed the comm and looked at the stars. Somewhere down on Novus Terra, people were still alive. Families were hiding. Children were crying. He couldn't let them die. Let's buy them time, he said. The ship's engines glowed again. Valor turned toward the heart of the enemy fleet. The HSS Valor flew deeper into space, straight toward the center of the Zarn fleet. Most human captains would have turned back, not Captain Rourke. He stared at the screen as hundreds of red dots moved around the planet Novus Terra. The Zarn ships were everywhere, blocking escape, bombing cities, killing anything that moved. Ivy, he said, how many ships are out there? The ship's AI replied, over 300 enemy vessels. No other human ships nearby. Survival chances, less than 4%. Rourke didn't blink. Good, let's surprise them. He pushed the controls forward. Valor's engines lit up bright blue, and the ship vanished into faster-than-light speed. Seconds later, it reappeared just outside the Zarn perimeter. Immediately, warning alarms went off. Enemy scanners detecting us. Ivy said. Too late, Rourke whispered. He launched a new weapon mirror, drones. These small machines created fake images of the Valar, tricking enemy radars. 10 Valars appeared, flying in all directions. The Zarn hesitated. They didn't know which ship was real. That's when Rourke attacked. He dived between 2 Zarn cruisers and dropped gravity bombs. The bombs exploded, pulling the ships into each other like magnets. They crashed with a soundless blast. Flames burst from their engines. Another ship tried to chase him, but he spun Valor behind an asteroid. When the enemy followed, he fired 2 torpedoes. One hit its target. The other disabled the ship's weapons. "Keep moving," he told Ivy. Inside the Zarn mothership, Overlord Valker stared at the chaos on his screens. One ship was dancing through his entire fleet. Fast, precise, deadly. "What kind of pilot is this?" he shouted. His commander answered, "We believe it's the human from earlier, Rourke." Valker's eyes glowed. "So the humans still have teeth. Let's pull them out." He ordered the release of the Hunter's small, advanced Zarn ships, built for speed and close-range kills back in space. Rourke noticed them instantly. 6 Hunter ships, shaped like knives, came straight at Valor from different angles. They were fast, too fast, Ivy. "Full shields," he said. "Shields unstable, Captain." "Then give me engines." Valor dodged the first attack. Laser blasts flew past. One hit the left side. The hull shook, but held. Rourke spun the ship upside down and flew between 2 Hunter ships. Firing pulse cannons. One enemy exploded. Another clipped Valor's wing and spiraled out of control. 4 left. Rourke knew he couldn't win in open space. These ships were built to chase, but he had something they didn't: human creativity. He flew straight toward a nearby debris field, a graveyard of broken ships from an old battle. Ivy warned him. "Navigation through this zone is risky." "Perfect," Rourke smiled. Inside the debris, metal parts floated everywhere: huge engines, ship hulls, spinning satellite pieces. The Hunter ships followed, but they couldn't fly as well in tight spaces. Rourke used every trick he knew: drifting, sudden stops, sharp turns. He led one Hunter into a broken warship. It crashed and exploded. Another tried to cut him off, but he reversed suddenly, then fired a blast at close range. Now only 2 remained. The last 2 Hunters cornered him near a giant half-broken carrier ship. They fired together. Valor took a hit. The bridge lights flickered. Ivy's voice glitched. "Shields down." "Hull breach in Sector 3. Rourke breathed hard, blood on his forehead. But he wasn't done. He sent a secret signal to the carrier wreck in front of him. Long ago, he had hidden something there. A surprise. The carrier suddenly came to life. Old defense guns opened. Fire dot. Boom, boom, boom. The last 2 Hunters were destroyed before they could react. Rourke smiled. "Still got some tricks." Ivy's voice returned. "Enemy forces pulling back. Fleet movement detected mothership approaching." Rourke looked at the screen. The Zarn mothership was huge, bigger than a city, covered in armor, armed with enough weapons to destroy a planet. It was heading straight for him. He leaned back in the chair. "Now this will be fun." The Zarn mothership moved like a dark mountain through space. It was huge, so big it made other ships look like toys. Its surface was covered in thick black armor, glowing red lines, and giant cannons that turned slowly like the eyes of a beast. Inside the HSS Valor, alarms were ringing. "Warning, Zarn mothership approaching. Estimated time to contact, 9 minutes, said Ivy. Captain Rourke stared at the screen. "If that thing reaches Novus Terra, the planet is gone," Ivy replied. "We are not strong enough to face it directly." "I know," Rourke said quietly. "That's why we don't fight it directly. We trap it." Rourke opened a map of the nearby space zone. He studied the wreckage field where they had just fought. There were broken ships, empty stations, and old asteroid mines, junk from an ancient battle, but to Rourke, it was a battlefield. "Ivy, pull up the layout of the Cassius graveyard." Accessing done, he marked several points on the map: hold fuel cells, power lines, missile pods, and fusion cores. "I'm going to make a web," he said. "A death web." While the mothership moved slowly forward, Valor raced through the debris. Rourke and Ivy worked together, laying traps and reactivating old war tech. They connected damaged stations with energy wires, reprogrammed broken weapons, and set explosives on floating wrecks. Each trap was small, but together they were dangerous. Trap. "Grid, 50% complete," Ivy said. "Keep going," Rourke replied, sweat running down his face. His hands moved fast. There was no time to rest. He placed the last trap near a dead satellite. It still had a working laser hidden inside. Finally, the trap was ready. The mothership entered the debris field. Its sensors scanned the area, but saw nothing strange. The traps were too well hidden. Inside the mothership, Overlord Valkyr smiled. "Bring me the human's head." His ship fired a warning shot at Valor. The blast missed, but shook the smaller ship. Rourke didn't fire back. He ran. "Come on, follow me," he whispered. The mothership chased Valor deep into the graveyard. As it moved forward, its giant body brushed against a wrecked battlecruiser. Boom. The first trap exploded. Flames tore through one side of the mothership. Still, it kept coming. Rourke flew around a cluster of asteroids. Another trap activated. Mines pulled chunks of rock into the mothership's engines. Boom, boom, boom. Inside the mothership, alarms screamed. "We've entered a trap," shouted one. "Zarn Commander .va," Carr growled. "I don't care. Catch him." But the traps kept going off one after another. Explosions, energy drains, EMP blasts, guns firing from forgotten ships. The mothership slowed. Rourke circled around and flew straight at the enemy's weak side. Ivy charged plasma cannon. Cannon charged. He fired. The beam hit one of the mothership's missile bays. It exploded, sending fire across its hull. Small enemy ships launched from its side, trying to stop Valor. Rourke flew between them, dodging, spinning, and leading them into more traps. 3 Zarn fighters exploded in quick flashes. Suddenly, Ivy spoke in a flat tone. "Warning, multiple systems failing, shields offline, engines overheating." Rourke was breathing hard. "We just need one final shot." He opened a secret bay on Valor's side. Inside was an old, illegal weapon. A black hole charged a tiny bomb that created a short gravity collapse. Dangerous, unstable band. Rourke smiled. "Let's end this." He flew close to the mothership's exposed engine core. Lasers chased him. One shot hit Valor's side. Fire spread across the ship. "Hull breach in Sector 5, Ivy said. "I know," Rourke grunted. He dropped the black hole charge and boosted away as fast as he could. 3, 2, 1. The charge exploded. A small dark sphere appeared, pulling everything toward it. Metal twisted. Ships broke. Part of the mothership was crushed inward. Then boom. The energy reversed and exploded outward, tearing a hole in the mothership's side. The enemy ship stopped moving. Rourke floated nearby. Watching the fire and wreckage. "We didn't destroy it," Ivy said, "but we broke it." "That's enough," Rourke replied. "Now the galaxy knows. They can be hurt." Smoke filled the bridge of the HSS Valor. Sparks flew from damaged panels. Warning lights flashed everywhere. The ship was barely holding together. But Captain Rourke was still alive. He wiped blood from his face and pulled himself back into his seat. The giant Zarn mothership behind him was wounded, its side ripped open, engines offline, parts of it burning in silence. "Ivy," Rourke said, voice tired. "Status report." The AI replied, "Shields gone. Hull integrity at 28%. Weapons, offline communication system, functional." Rourke smiled weakly. "Then it's time." He leaned forward and opened the galactic broadcast channel, a signal that could reach every nearby ship, station, and planet. The screen showed his face, bloodied, bruised, but alive. His voice was calm but strong. "This is Captain Elias Rourke. I'm speaking to all species, to every world still standing." He paused, letting the silence build. "The Zarn came here thinking we were weak. They attacked Novus Terra. They destroyed our fleets. They thought one human ship would be no threat." He turned and looked at the burning mothership behind him. They were wrong. On distant planets, people stopped to listen. In mining colonies, on alien worlds, and inside hidden space stations, screens lit up with Rourke's message. Some alien leaders leaned closer. Soldiers in bunkers stared in silence. Children on refugee ships watched with wide eyes. Rourke continued. "They bleed like we do. They burn like we do. Today, one human warship stood against their mothership, and it's still standing." He pointed at the camera. "They are not gods. They are not unstoppable. All they have is fear. But now, they should fear us." At that moment, the Valor's sensors picked up signals. "Incoming transmissions," Ivy said. "Multiple, from different sectors." Rourke looked at the screen. Messages were coming in from alien ships and human outposts. One by one, they appeared. "This is the Free Martian Fleet. We're ready to fight." Kavari rebels responding. "Send us coordinates." "Yalari command here." "The Zarn took our moon. We want revenge." Thousands of ships across the galaxy had heard Rourke's call, and they were answering. On the Zarn mothership, Overlord Vacher watched the broadcast in rage. "Cut the signal," he screamed. His officers looked nervous. "We can't. The signal is bouncing off civilian satellites. It's spreading faster than we can stop it." Vacher clenched his fists. "Then we destroy the Valar before this message goes any further." Back on the Valar, Ivy gave a warning. Mothership weapons, charging again. Energy levels rising. Rourke looked out the window. "She's not dead yet." He turned back to the camera for one final message. "This war is not over. But now, we have something we didn't have yesterday. Hope the Zarn can be beaten. They're not ready for what's coming." He gave one last smile. "Humanity doesn't run, and we don't forget." He ended the message and leaned back, breathing hard. "Ivy, send it to every relay station. Loop it every hour." "Confirmed." Message sent. Seconds later, a massive blast fired from the mothership. It hit the Valar hard. The ship shook violently. Panels exploded. Gravity systems failed. Rourke fell to the floor. "Critical damage," Ivy said. "Emergency shutdown recommended." "No," Rourke whispered. "Not yet." He pulled himself back to the controls. "If they want to finish this, they'll have to come here." Then something unexpected happened. Multiple ships jumped into the system. Human ships, alien ships, pirate ships, big and small, old and new. They all flew toward Valar. One human commander spoke first. "This is Admiral Hayes of the Earth Recovery Fleet." "Captain Rourke, we got your message." Another voice followed. "We're here to fight. Just tell us where." Rourke smiled. The galaxy had heard the message, and for the first time in years, it was ready to fight back. The space around Novus Terra changed. For hours, it had belonged to the Zarn. Their ships had hunted, destroyed, and ruled without fear. Now, dozens of new ships appeared, human, alien, even rogue pirates. They came from all directions. Some were old and rusty. Some were shiny and powerful. But they all had one goal: help the man who had stood alone. Inside the broken HSS Valor, Captain Elias Rourke looked at the screen. His body was weak, his arms shook, but his eyes still sharp. "Ivy," he whispered. "How many friendlies?" 37 ships. "More jumping in every minute," Rourke gave a tired smile. "Looks like I started something." Then Ivy warned, "Zarn mothership powering weapons. Target, incoming fleet." Rourke's voice sharpened. "They're going to wipe us out before we can organize." He struggled to sit up. Smoke filled the air. Metal creaked all around him. The Valor was barely holding together. "Ivy, can we still move? Engines damaged. Maximum thrust, 32%. It's dangerous." "Good," he said, coughing. "Dangerous is what we need." Outside, the Zarn mothership turned slowly, aiming its main cannon at the largest human ship, a battleship called Helio 7. Rourke didn't wait. He charged the Valor forward, straight at the mothership. Other captains shouted over the comms, "Rourke, fall back. You're too damaged. It's suicide." But Rourke ignored them. He flew close to the surface of the mothership, dodging its turrets. The Zarn didn't expect a crippled ship to come straight at them. He found what he was looking for: the external weapon control core. "Ivy, full engine power. Ram it." "Confirming." "Are you sure?" "Do it." Valor's engine screamed as the ship picked up speed. Flames trailed behind. Sparks flew from the damaged hull. Rourke locked the controls and stood up. He stared into the view screen as the core got closer. "This is for everyone you've hurt," he whispered. Boom! Valor slammed into the mothership's weapon core. The explosion lit up the sky. Fire spread across the Zarn's upper decks. The main cannon stopped glowing. The shot, meant to kill the human fleet, never fired. Inside the mothership, Overlord Vacher roared in anger. "Find that human, destroy him." But it was too late. The Allied fleet had seen what Rourke just did, and now they attacked. The skies lit up with war. Human and alien ships fired together. Missiles, lasers, and torpedoes flew across space. small fighters zipped between giant cruisers. For the first time, the Zarn were on the defensive. Their perfect lines broke. Ships exploded. Others ran. One by one, the monsters that ruled the stars began to fall. On the Valar, fires burned in every corridor. The ship had no power, no shields, and barely any oxygen. But Rourke was still alive. Ivy's voice was soft, now weak. Fading, Captain. Systems failing. Goodbye. Rourke touched the console. You did good, Ivy. You did real good. He passed out next to the broken controls as the battle raged outside. Minutes later, a rescue ship docked with Valar. Soldiers rushed in. Medics carried Rourke out. He was barely breathing, but his hand still held a recording chip, the same chip that had carried his message across the stars. Later, in the command deck of the Earth Fleet, Admiral Hayes stood beside Rourke's hospital bed. You mad old man, Hayes said with a grin. You turned the tide. Rourke opened one eye and said with a dry smile, Told you, one ship can change everything. Across the galaxy, news spread fast. Human captain stops Zarn's Weapon. First Allied victory in Zarn War. Rourke, the Unbreakable. The name Valar became legend. No longer a forgotten ship, now a symbol of hope. 2 weeks later, the war front was quiet. The Zarn mothership was gone, torn apart by fire and steel. The galaxy was no longer silent in fear. Instead, it buzzed with a new feeling. Hope. At a large space station orbiting New Earth, people gathered. Soldiers, aliens, leaders, and civilians stood together in one massive hall. Flags of many planets flew side by side. A large screen showed the image of a man, Captain Elias Rourke. He was in a medical bed, weak but awake. Tubes ran from his arms. His voice was soft, but his words were strong. I didn't expect to survive, he said, but if I had to fall, I wanted it to matter. He paused and looked around the room through the screen. I was alone. Ship, one man. And still, we made a stand. He smiled a little, but the truth is I was never really alone. You were all just waiting. Waiting for someone to show that the Zarn could bleed. The crowd was silent, listening, moved. And now, he continued, the galaxy has remembered what it means to fight back. Together, the crowd cheered, loud and proud. The name Rourke echoed through the chamber. Behind the crowd, a massive statue stood. It was a perfect copy of the HSS Valor battlescarred, proud and eternal. Below it were carved the words, one ship, one stand, one legend. Across different worlds, children learned about Valor in school. Songs were written. Holovids were made. Pilots painted the word Valor on their ships. Rourke had become more than a captain. He had become a symbol. Meanwhile, in deep space, the war still burned in other corners of the galaxy. The Zarn were not gone. They were angry, wounded, and more dangerous than ever. But things had changed. Allied fleets worked together. Human engineers shared weapons with alien warriors. Species that once feared humans now fought beside them. And every new battle began with the same battle cry. For Valor, back at New Earth, Rourke slowly recovered. Doctors warned him not to push too hard. He didn't listen. One morning, he stood up on shaky legs and walked to the window of his hospital room. The stars were shining, calm, and quiet. A young soldier entered the room, nervous and excited. Captain Rourke, sir. Permission to speak? Rourke turned. Go ahead, kid. I've been assigned to a new ship. And, it's named after yours, the Valar II. Make it count. The soldier smiled wide and left. Later that night, Rourke sat alone in the dark. He looked at an old picture of him and his former crew years ago. Most were gone now, but somehow they had all stood with him in spirit. He raised a small glass to the ones who stayed, to the ship that never gave up. Outside the window, ships flew past. Bright trails lit the sky. A new chapter had begun. The Zarn would return. War would come again. But this time, the galaxy would be ready, because one ship, one man, had reminded everyone what humanity stood for. We don't run, we don't bow, we fight.